This is a Guide Your Light network production, creating podcasts with purpose.
Hello, beautiful. This is the Awakening to More podcast, and I am Alicia Dumais Temmerman. Have you ever asked yourself, is there more? Or thought to yourself, there must be more? In this podcast, we explore all of the areas of your life where you might be yearning for more. More meaning, more connection, more time, more growth and abundance, but also more patience, calm, peace, acceptance, and of course, fun. From spiritual awakenings and journeys, relationships, business, parenting, and all of the things. Join me as I share from my heart to yours, along with amazing guests, to help you find your own way home, to create a life you relish and love. Thank you for being here. Let's jump in. Welcome. How beautiful to have you here for the first episode of Awakening to More. Welcome. Thank you for joining. I know you have many things to be doing in your life, and I deeply appreciate that you've chosen to spend some time with me today, this evening, whatever time it is that you're coming in to this episode. So I just wanted to start out with this first episode, really just to share a little hello, setting the scene. Just want to give you all an idea about the journey and what we're going to embark upon together. Having said that, I really don't know, because life tends to take on a journey of its own. And we'll work together and play together and have fun together and learn together and grow together. And some of you will stay the course here, and you'll still be here when I'm podcasting into my 80s and 90s, maybe even 100s. And others will just come here and now and just get bits and pieces. And for some of you, this may be the only time I ever connect with you. And I'm just so grateful to be connecting with you right now in this time, wherever you are in the world and wherever you are on your current life journey. So my friends, awakening to more. This podcast has been percolating in my mind for some time now, and I have felt many times in my life, and I'm sure you have, where you've got to a point in your life and you've said to yourself, is this it? There's got to be more. There must be more. Like, what's next for me? What else out there? Because there's just this feeling as humans, as these creative beings, that we're just constantly learning, evolving, growing, developing. And so it's natural that we want more. So the main reason that I wanted to start this podcast was because we teach what we've learned, what we've had to go through. And podcasting is such a great way to share out into the world, to download out into the world so many things that we've learned. And I know each and every one of you could start a podcast, could write a book for all of the things that you've learned, all of the things you've navigated and traversed. And the more that we share our voices, the more that we put these out there, then even if it's just one person that gets value, that something that you say helps them in some way, then it's all worth it. Or even for your own journey as well. And I also want to share this, to have it out there for my children as they get older, and for their children and grandchildren, on, for generations and generations. For me personally, I have had to learn, and I'm still learning. I am not a finished product in any way, shape or form. How to untangle myself from a life where in the past I often felt very overwhelmed. I felt quite restricted and caged in, that I was living a certain life, obligation, having to earn money, big mortgage, not having a lot of freedom in my life, and following the rules, doing the right things, following the trodden path kind of expected of us humans. And I have learned to be able to access a part of myself that is already fully free, is fully unrestricted. And I want to help as many people as I can to access and connect with that part of yourself, to help other people feel a deep sense of peace within, of faith in knowing that all of the things that we're going through, that we are fully supported in that. And I'm going to talk a lot about this over the coming episodes. And I know that many of you listening, you've felt in the past, or you might be traversing this right now. You might have you may resonate with this, where you feel like you haven't got a lot of options, that you have to do certain things, that you're required to do this or that, or the expectations, responsibilities, and all of those things that we've really been conditioned to live in this structure of this earth school, I like to call it, where we are, this school of life, this a school of experiences, this learning experience, this learning opportunity. And I want to share that it doesn't require necessarily huge, massive, sweeping changes to bring open and connect more with this joy, this freedom, this spaciousness in our lives. It can be tiny little things, little millimeter shifts, little tweaks, adding rituals into your day, increasing your awareness of yourself as an energetic being. I'm going to talk a lot about energy throughout these episodes. Bringing that awareness to our thoughts, our actions, this can literally start to transform the way that we experience ourselves and we experience being in the world with others, the way we experience our interactions with friends and family, in relationships, our working life, if you're in the paid working life, or many of you in the unpaid working life, caring for children, elderly parents, relatives, and all of the things that we're doing. Or you may actually be ready to make some bigger changes in your life to move you closer and closer and closer to a life you love more, you relish more. And I put a lot of thought into the heading, to the topic, the name, I should say, of this podcast, this show, and awakening to more. I chose that because I will be talking definitely about awakenings of people having experiences where they start to realize there is so much more than what we see, feel, touch, hear, that's coexisting with us on our human journey. But this concept of more, I really want to explore that with you. I want us to dig into it a little bit. And when I think of it, I think of who has seen the movie Oliver or the musical Oliver. And when I hear more, you want more, I immediately associate these words with that movie. Do you remember in that scene where the sweet, gorgeous little boy Oliver, and he dares to ask for more food? And there was presumably some unwritten rule in the orphanage that you don't ask for more. And he's an orphan, right? So some would say he should know his standing and his place, and he just gets what he gets and don't get upset. You know, if you said that to your kids, get what you get and don't get upset, those who are traversing the parenting realm. But yet, despite that, despite him being an orphanage, he dares to ask for more. How dare he? He does. He asks more. And then the song breaks out. Never before has a boy wanted more. Oliver. Never before has a boy wanted more. So he's the one, despite his standing, he's prepared to be like that change maker. He's prepared to kind of push against the status quo, to stand up. And he's got this sense of sovereignty in himself that he's hungry, so he's entitled for more. He's entitled to ask for more. So I want you to think, my darling friend, what are you hungry for? What are you feeling unsatisfied about in your life? What are the areas of your life, across all of the areas, right? Parenting, relationships, business, work, friendships, travel, exploration, health, spirituality, all the things. Where have you not even allowed yourself to ask for more? Maybe haven't even dared to allow yourself to ask for more. And I want us to think about, why is it that we hold back? Why is it that we don't want to really go out there and ask for more and do more and be more and all of the things? And often the reason is, I think, and this may or may not resonate with you, is that we don't want to be seen as greedy, right? We don't want to be a greedy person. We don't want to ask for more than just our share. Because maybe, like, what have you associated with that, with being a greedy person? Because people maybe don't like greedy people, yeah? And we want people to like us, right? We want to fit in and all of the things. We don't want, maybe this might resonate with you, we don't want someone to think, oh, I'm ungrateful. I'm not appreciative of what we've got. And I'm sure many of you will have heard this before, where people will say, oh, just be grateful for what you've got, or it could be so much worse. Other people have it so much worse than you, and it actually denies your capacity to feel your feeling, which may be that you want more, but you're being told, no, you can't ask for more, you can't want more, because you should just be satisfied with what you've got. You've got more than others, right? Whether it's in the financial space or in relationship or work or whatever it is. Don't push the boat, don't rock the boat, right? So I want to share a different perspective. I want to share from more of a spiritual perspective. Firstly, this pie that we're supposedly all sharing here as humans, from the spiritual perspective, from the absolute truth, it is unlimited. If you take more and experience more, this does not deny your fellow humankind of experiencing less. We are playing in an unlimited space of infinite abundance. And I also want to share, building on that perspective, is that for me, humans who really relish life, go for it, seek more for their own experience, which also, as I'm going to talk about, includes tending so much more to ourselves. This is the most beautiful way we can honor our incarnation, honor our life, not take it for granted, not just kind of settle, but rather honoring the truth, which I believe is that you intentionally put a great deal of energy and thought into your decision to come and take birth in a human body, in your form, in the family that you're in, all of that. This was not done lightly, and there is no accident that you are here in this particular time, space, dimension of Earth School. And so to actually really honor that decision is to live your life fully, not holding back, going for it, seizing the day, taking the risks, diving into life, and that it's absolutely within your entitlement as a sovereign being to ask for more, to look at the areas of your life where you feel like there could be some more juice, there could be some more deliciousness, there could be some other levels of joy that maybe you're not experiencing right now. But because we live in this duality, polarity world, we need to realize that the full experience may also come with usually some deep pain, suffering, hardships, challenges, all of the stuff that is part of being tapped into the frequency of Earth School. And I like to think about it like in this ocean that we're living in, and that we can kind of play it safe, and we can just maybe be on a boat, just bobbing along on the water and keeping ourselves in our nice little comfort zone. Or, you know, you might choose some big, huge luxury liner or something where you're super, super comfortable, right? You're nowhere near the elements, not even close to be able to touch the water. You're up in the top deck, but at least looking out into the nature, into the beautiful ocean. Or we can take some of our time here to just dive right in and not just sit on the surface of life, playing it safe, and think now, just using this analogy, of all that exists. There's a whole nother world, a whole nother ecosystem existing in the ocean. Incredible colors that maybe we don't see up here on the land. All these species, all these different experiences, textures, things for our eyes to see, that if we don't really kind of dive in life, what are we missing? What are we missing if we kind of just want to live this, you know, very safe, vanilla-y life? And I don't want that to come across as like a judgment, because maybe that's it. Maybe some of us choose that incarnation. Maybe we've had some, you know, big experiences in human form before, and we've decided to come and just have like a pretty just basic human experience without kind of all the ups and downs. But I think that would be rare, because who do you know who doesn't experience all the ups and downs? It's the design of this fast track soul evolution Earth School necessarily includes so much of all of the things. So where do we start? I have got so many things I want to share, so many messages, so much across all the different spectrums of things that we're experiencing as humans. So the first thing that I want to share in this inaugural episode is the concept, the idea that to create a life of more, this may actually require us to do less. Just going to say that again. To create a life of more, this may actually require us to do less. And I want you to think about this now and think about yourself for your own life. Most people I know seem to actually be pretty tired right now. And there are many people who are tired of being tired, people who are experiencing a lot of health issues, and they're sick of being sick of being tired, sick and tired. And I don't believe that humans are tired and overwhelmed because they're not capable, they're not resilient, they're not resourceful, they're not these amazing creative forces that are able to manage. What I believe, just from what I see, and I know because, as I said at the start, we teach what we've had to learn, and I have very much been caught up in that cycle of doing, achieving, striving, all of that. But humans, my darlings, we as humans are doing way too much, are trying to cram in way too much every single day with that overwhelming to-do list that is just constantly going and on your back, right? And just think about it. From the moment most humans wake now, their head is in the external stimuli. Waking up, people grabbing the phones immediately, all of the outside voices are coming straight in of all the things that other people need or want from you. Then filling all the day with external noise. Podcasts, ironic. I'm doing one to add to the external noise. Watching TV, reading. I went into the city recently. I don't go into the city very often, and it's just amazing as carriages of humans. Pretty much 99% of the humans, I did a bit of a scan, are in the phones and just scrolling, this mindless scrolling, disconnecting ourselves more and more and more from our connection back with our inner being, with our inner knowing. There's such little time now for humans to daydream. Used to be, you'd be waiting in line for something, or you would have all those moments in between things. Or back in the day, I remember very early in my career, I started out as a lawyer back in 2001. And I remember one of the partners talking to me about how the pace of work had increased so much because of emails. And it used to be that they'd write an advice and they'd send it off in the mail, and then it would take a while for the person to receive it, to read it, to digest it, and then they would come back to them. Whereas now you do the advice, send it off in an email, and then 10 minutes later they've read it and they're back on the phone to you. And just this increasing cycle of speeding up. And I've heard that, I don't know the statistic right now on the top of my head, but what as humans were digesting, exposed to in terms of information, it may be that in a year of how much information they would receive, it's now like that in hours or days we can just be bombarded with so much. So this requires so much discipline if we want to have a life where we're able to navigate this from a place of peace and more ease and more joy and freedom. So doing less in the outside world and more for ourselves internally, as well as nurturing ourselves more in terms of our external body as well. I just want to share with as many people as I can that there's another way. There is another way to live, to experience life, to understand ourselves as energetic beings, as expansive, infinite beings, to be conscious of our energetic exchanges with humans, to ensure we're continuing to tap in and fill ourselves up energetically. Because if we see ourselves as just these human beings, and we're limited, we're finite, we're fragile, it's very understandable if that's the only vantage point we have, that we would feel exhausted a lot because we're having to do a lot of stuff out there in the world. And most people are trying to seeking to fill themselves up from all of the external things in life. And one of the messages that I've been given about this, I'm going to talk more about this later, and also in coming episodes about my connections with energies beyond this realm that really inform and will inform much of what I share, is that they've shared this vision and message before, which is if we're relying upon other people, other things outside of ourselves to fill ourselves up in terms of our physical body, that kind of energy, then it's akin to being like in a big sports stadium and you've got like one little vase trying to capture this energy in the middle, and everyone's out in the stands and they're all throwing their things in, trying to fill up your vessel. The chances of that are small. Whereas if you just bring your intention to yourself, prioritizing yourself, caring for yourself, tending to yourself, doing the things that you know you need to maintain your energy, then that's the same as just pouring straight into the vase directly from source, straight in, and filling you up really, really quickly. So honoring our body, listening to the whispers of our souls, and our soul will never say to us, do more, push harder, strive more, go, 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 smash, smash, smash the goals, get out there, prove to everyone in the world that you're worthy. That can lead us, because there's parts of ourselves that do want that, right? This egoic part of ourselves. But when we're very connected to that part of ourselves, this is when it can, and I speak from experience on this. And again, I have not accomplished this completely, the unraveling of this. But we can lead ourselves down paths of overwhelm, suffering, exhaustion, sickness. I've had many, many, many bouts of things in the past when I was out of balance and disconnected from my body, and then constantly feeling like we haven't achieved, we haven't done enough in the day, we haven't got through our goals. But if we're listening to that subtle, pristine voice of our soul, of our higher self, we may hear things like this. Rest, dear one. You've done enough today, sweetheart. Go into nature, put your feet in the ground, your face in the sun. Slow down, slow down. Connect with your friends, connect with your family. Extend your love to yourself, nurture yourself, listen to a beautiful song, read a beautiful poem, dance, sing. Extend your love to yourself and then extend it to others. Do one thing at a time, darling. Just be here, as Ram Dass says, be here now. Be here now. Can you feel already, even just washing over your body, the difference of that resonance, of that frequency, of the being, the stillness, the connection, rather than all of this external striving. And I'm not saying that we just become complacent and sloth about and not engage in the world, but it very much comes back to the intention of why we're doing it. And if we're doing it from a place of trying to seek approval, worthiness, all of that, then that will continue to deplete us. But if we're out in the world sharing our loves and our passions and flowing our inspiration and our creative force through us, this comes from an unlimited resource that is energizing for us. We have been very firmly, very strongly conditioned in this world to believe that the things we see outside of ourselves, the external world, the supposed markers of a good, successful life, of what we need to strive for and create in our life, we've been told that this is what we're supposed to do, right? To be a good human in the world. And what I want to share along the way is that I feel that true success is really creating a life you love, you relish, deep connection and deep love for yourself, feeling fulfilled within our being, feeling this peace. And I know that searching for it outside of ourselves will never truly provide that. Not that permanent sense of deep knowing and peace that is available. It is within us. And I'm sure there have been times when you've thought to yourself, I know I certainly have. Oh, but once I get this, then I'm going to feel satisfied, right? And think about it for your life. It may have been once I get that job, or once I get that promotion, once I get the partner, once I get him, get her. And this crazy thing of like having to control or own things. Once I become a parent, or once I finish that marathon, the ultra marathon, the masters, all of those things. But I want you to think now about your life and those big highlights, the big things, the big milestones that you may have thought previously, that's going to provide this deep sense of satisfaction, that peace that I'm searching for. So once you got that, once you achieved it, whatever it was, I want you to really honestly ask yourself, how long did that sense of accomplishment, of peace, of whatever it was for you, how long did it last? Beautiful friend, how long did it last for? I'm pretty sure it would have been pretty temporary. Maybe an hour, maybe a minute, maybe a few hours, maybe a day, maybe a few weeks, maybe even a few months if you'd be doing well. This is temporary. And that's because trying to accomplish all the things in this fast-paced world, to keep up with all the people, to follow the path, to tick the boxes of what looks like a fulfilled life, it can actually often lead to exhaustion, burnout, overwhelm. And I just don't want that for any more humans. So I wanted you to think now to yourself, how many humans do you know who you could honestly say that they're living a life that they absolutely relish and love? That they're relishing every day, they're not taking it for granted, they are in awe of all of the things in their life, they're enjoying their life, they're having fun, they're walking lightly on the earth, not taking it all too seriously, not stressed out of their heads. How many people do you know personally in the world who you could look at and aspire to that kind of a life, a truly successful life? And you might have a different interpretation of success. I hope there's a lot of people you know living that kind of life, but I suspect there probably are not. And I'm not saying I have all the answers. Not saying I've completely achieved this successful life from that perspective. But what I can say is that my life most likely has all of the messiness of your life. We're here learning, growing, evolving, having all of our various challenges. They just come dressed up in different lessons and learnings and people. But what I have been able to find, which I hope to be able to assist as many as I can, is a deep and unabiding sense of peace that just sits beneath all of it, all the daily happenings, the daily challenges, this sense, this sturdiness that I know within my being that it's going to be okay, it's going to work out, and our essence will never die and will continue, and that we are eternal. And I know and I deeply trust that whoever is the architect of this whole experience that we're having right now, we're gifted to come into human form and play here on this earth realm with all of its intricacies and the ins and outs, ups and downs, ins and arounds. I deeply trust that architect. Whatever language you want to use, source, creator, God, universe, my guides refer to this as all that is and all that will ever be. I know that this force deeply loves and supports and holds us and will not allow us at our true level, our true essence, our eternal nature to ever be really harmed. So this is just the taste. This is just the start. We're going to talk about lots of different topics. I'm going to have guests on here down the track across the spectrum of life, living, being a human, being what I refer to, again, not my phrase, but from my guides, a divine human. Very much being a human being, enjoying experience being human, but with that other vantage point, connecting into that divine part of ourselves. In terms of me, some of you may never have come across me before. I play in a few spaces in the world and I will draw on my experiences as much as I can. And from the outside, it can actually look like I do a lot, right? Which is ironic because I'm saying, hey, everyone, do less. But I work very much part-time in my businesses around my family, and I get to choose and pick where I put my energy. And I do a lot to nourish myself regularly and daily. And when we truly take the driver's seat of our life and really decide what's important to us, are we aligning our time with the things that we really want to do in the world? How we spend our time making decisions, prioritizing things, and honoring ourselves and fitting the other things in and around. It can be a magical dance, or then it just doesn't feel as overwhelming. So just a few dot points of introduction. I'm a mumma here, living in Victoria in Australia. Got 4 kids currently, their current ages are 6, 8, 14 and 16. Boys at the ends, 10 years apart, and girls in the middle. And certainly the parenting journey is a big one for me. I find that that's one of my biggest spiritual assignments here, navigating that. I run my own businesses across some different areas: a legal HR business, mediation, conflict resolution, health and wellness business, more in the product space, and also spiritual wellness business, running retreats and one-on-one energy healings, do some relationship coaching. I live currently amongst the trees as I'm speaking to you and talking with you and sharing with you. I'm looking out at beautiful nature, having just done a big move from being in the city to moving to the foot of the Dandenong Ranges. I love deep conversations, connecting with humans. And I also love deep conversations with energies who are not in the human form. And I have a team of guides that I work with who I communicate with, and in a very overt way, where they use my voice to talk directly with me and to share messages for others. So think like Whoopi Goldberg in the movie Ghost, if you remember that movie. And so for those of you who haven't worked with me, a lot of things that I'll be sharing, they won't actually be from me, as in Alicia, from the lived experience, Alicia, who's living on this planet, doing the mumming, the working, the friending, the daughtering, all that stuff. But I'm the conduit, a vessel. They come from these conversations with these energies, these very wise, beautiful, loving beings beyond this realm to share and help us humans. And so these are perspectives that we may not always have from our human vantage point. And I know for some of you at this point, you might be like, okay, this sounds crazy and wacky that this woman is communicating with beings beyond our realm. And at some stage, I'll share the whole story. And many of you do know the story, but it did take me 6 years to share that with people, because I was certainly worried at the time about what people would think. And I just want to put that right out there in this episode, that this is me and this is part of my human incarnation, is sharing and being a bridge between the realms. And so you may check out at this point. You may say, you know what, that's too far for me. That's not for me. And I love and respect deeply wherever you are in terms of your views on this. and whatever your views are about life after death, spirituality, all of those things, they're perfect right now for each and every one of us. We're not all here on the same curriculum, and we're not all expected to see everything the same way. We haven't come here to see things through the same lens. And so I always say in my courses and retreats and things like that, I never want anyone just to blindly just believe anything I say or anything anyone says. Always put everything through your own resonance, your own filter, your own essence. Does that feel true to you? How does that feel? Run statements through your own being, making conscious choices, not just blindly following. I think it's good. Keep an open mind. I think it's good to be skeptical and to have questions and to make sure that we're really living and honouring our own awareness and our own experience here. It's truly up to ourselves to really deeply honour our life, the choice we've made. And I believe you've made this choice to incarnate on this earth realm at this particular time where we are going through massive shifts of transformation as humankind. And with all of the circumstances in your life right now, I just trust that wherever you are, whatever you're going through, there's something in it for you and thus for all of us, because we are all, I believe, connected, all one big energy. All right, my friends, I could just chat and chat and chat away, but I'm going to leave it there for the first episode, and I want to leave us with just some questions for you to feel into in your own time. You to really ask yourself, my darling human precious being, what do you really want? What are the yearnings in your soul wanting to come through you, to be expressed through you? If money wasn't an issue, I know we'll definitely dive into money and all the things that it raises in people. If money wasn't an issue, how would you spend your time? And if you had a magic wand, you could change anything in your life, and it wouldn't, also amazingly, it just wouldn't harm anyone else in your life. What would you do? What decisions would you make? Beautiful. I'm going to leave you there, and please jump back in again. There's heaps of resources, free resources on my website, and I've got some energy habits that are things that I do every day just to really set myself up for the day as well. So I'll direct you to them as well. Until next time, beautiful, beautiful one. Take good care of you. Prioritize yourself. Block out some time in your diary to dedicate to whatever it is that you know you need right now to support you. I love you. Goodbye, my friends. So grateful to you for listening. I'd love you to share this. If you got value, rate and review my podcast so I can reach more humans. For loads of free resources, go to aliciatemmerman.com, and that'll take you to my offerings in spaces I play in, my spiritual wellness business, retreats, one-on-ones and other things. Also, I love working with couples, so check out the Marriage Hub. Finally, I have been an employment lawyer for over 20 years now, and I work in workplace mediation, conflict resolution, and mediation in other areas too. Dumais, D-U-M-A-I-S, Workplace Services is where you'll find all that info. I love you. Take good care of you.